I am a big believer in people. People I get to know, people I see how they do their job, how they go about it, how they are in personal life. That's why with all the kidding around that I do with Jason, I think the absolute world of him. Because he's the kind of person when you're around, you just genuinely like him. He's a great friend. He's loyal. He's got your back, despite the number of knives he's put in mine. Right. But, he's a person I absolutely believe in and have for forever. Forever. We've gone through working together and not one time ever have had a crossword about anything, right? Even though he hates my guts. He masks it well. But I'm a believer in people. I'm a believer in people that I'm around. Everybody knows how I feel about Jack Ham. No matter what you have thought of me over the years, he makes me way better. Dick Girardi, no matter what you've thought of me over the years, he makes me way better. And they're just great people away from the broadcast. Roger and Jeff Tarman and Bob Taylor and all these people. I'm a big believer in people. And I'm a big believer in James Franklin. James Franklin has all the qualities that I want in a Penn State football coach. We're in a modern era where you have to navigate the transfer portal. We're in a modern era where you have to navigate, for the lack of a better term, NIL, and now salaries moving forward. You have to have somebody with the personality to recruit. You have to have somebody with the personality to go out and continue to recruit. All right. I mean, the number of places he has visited just this season alone, because he's trying to take care of the present and the future at the same time. You have to work at 16 to 20 hours a day, which he does. Now, people have complained, for example, about his time management. Yet his time management has dramatically, right? I mean, no matter what, his time management's been outstanding in recent years. Outstanding. I don't want to get Saturday. What about not calling? What about timeouts at the end of the first half? He was managing that correctly. If you understand the game, you are trying to leave as little time as possible for the opposing team while trying to get points yourself, right? And that was actually managed extremely well. That's the way Jack and I talked about on the broadcast, that they're doing the right thing, because we're thinking the same thing. I don't want UCLA back on the field with a lot of time to work with if things go awry.
And they have the hot hand. You don't want the ball back in the hot hand.
So you're trying to at least get, you're not sitting there. That baffled me when people said that to me. I'm thinking that's not even remotely correct. Right?
Especially when you're around midfield. If you're at the 20-yard line and you have 3 timeouts and you're not urgent, then
right, exactly. Yeah. But you're at midfield, and I thought that was managed the way. If I'm sitting there, I manage it the same way. And at the end of the game, he gave his team a chance. By the way, he used the 3 timeouts at the end. He gave his team a chance. Okay, that aside, I'm just a big believer in people. I see how he is around his team. I see how he is in the recruiting part of it. I see how he is in navigating this modern landscape, which so many people do not want to deal with. Mike Krzyzewski did not want to deal with it anymore. Jay Wright did not want to deal with it anymore. Bruce Pearl did not want to deal with it anymore. Nick Saban did not want to deal with it anymore. There's a long list of people that don't want to deal with it anymore because the system has so dramatically changed. You have to have somebody who embraces it and is adapted to it. He's done that. But as a person, he is somebody that has great loyalty, which is something I think is invaluable. I was brought up by my parents on 2 basic premises: work ethic and loyalty. Always. Work ethic and loyalty. Anybody who's been around me for any period of time, except for Jason, anybody who's been around me for any period of time, I think does not question my work ethic.
No.
Right? And anybody who's been around me for any period of time has never questioned my loyalty. Well, loyalty is a two-way street. It's one thing for you to be loyal, but not have it returned. That doesn't work. Joe Paterno dramatically believed in work ethic and loyalty. It was important. He was as loyal to me as you could possibly ask. Bill O'Brien the same way. And James Franklin has been exactly the same way with me. I believe in people. If I'm going to, right now in this landscape of college football, if I'm going to handpick somebody I think can turn it around and can do it the Penn State way, it's him. That's me. You may not share the same opinion. You are perfectly entitled to your opinion. But keep in mind, I'm perfectly entitled to mine. Okay? Doesn't mean you and I have to agree. Doesn't mean anything. You are entitled to your opinion. You are a paying customer. Okay? But also keep in mind I'm entitled to mine. Right? If I had to handpick anybody, handpick it right now, today, I'd pick him. There wouldn't even be a question in my mind. I would pick him. He understands Penn State. He understands the landscape of this place. He has put Penn State in great positions for years and years and years. Right? And I always use the example of Pitt basketball. Jamie Dixon can only get them to the Sweet 16. Where you been since Jamie Dixon left? Okay? Again, the worst decisions are made in anger and in panic.
Mm-hmm. Spontaneous.
Anger, panic. Worst decisions are made. Okay? If I want to save what they have right now, but also then moving forward and get them back in a position to be in the college football playoff, he's the guy I want. Okay? Simple as that. And again, you may not at all agree with me. You are absolutely entitled to your opinion. You are a paying customer. Okay? And I respect that very, very much. Right? But at the same time, I'm also entitled to my opinion. Thanks for listening to Sports Talk with Steve Jones. Catch the latest from me on the 7 Mountain Sports YouTube page. Find clips of the show on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook by searching up 7 Mountain Sports.